Hey guys, I'm Hellhound, and today we're going to look at my top 10 favorite album covers of all time. Or maybe just current, I don't know, they might change, but I figured I'd share them with you anyway. Got some good ones here. Well, without further ado, let's begin. And also, it's only going to be one album per band. Otherwise, pretty much the entire thing would be taken up by Iron Maiden and King Diamond, and a lot of black metal stuff. So, let's get started. Okay, number 10. My 10th favorite album cover, Helloween, Better Than Raw. Look at that. That's just awesome. They're, mostly a power metal band. And I think this is one of the better albums with Andy Darris on vocals. Always prefer Michael Kiske, whatever. But yeah, look at that. That's, a band called Helloween should have an album cover like that. It just, really looks very Halloween-esque. Like a sexy witch making some, cooking some witch's brew with some pumpkin-headed demons, and just such an awesome scene. A really cool painting. I would love to have a portrait of this hanging up in my room somewhere. Hell, I even wouldn't mind getting a tattoo of it, or something like it. Oh yeah, Helloween's a great band. They don't really sound like their name would suggest. When you hear a band called, when you hear about a band called Helloween, I'd kind of picture something darker, maybe like a doom metal. With sludgy riffs and really occult themed lyrics, really dark, atmospheric, maybe even some ambient stuff. But they're mostly power metal. They kind of sound like a lesser version of Iron Maiden. I'm not knocking them, by the way. I'm not knocking. They've always had a great vocalist and great instrumentals as well. They're a really good band. But anyway, I'm not gonna talk too much about the albums themselves, just the covers. But yeah, that's my 10th favorite album cover of all time. Alright, next would be Rust in Peace by Megadeth, my 9th favorite album cover. I had to include one by Megadeth. It was a toss-up between this one and Peace Sells. They got their mascot Vic Rattlehead. He's almost as cool as Eddie from Iron Maiden. I think it's a really cool cover. You got an alien being studied. I guess some military personnel in the background. I'm not really sure what's going on. I think I read the whole story one time. I'm pretty sure it's probably Hangar 18. That's what the cover's supposed to portray. The song Hangar 18 found on this album. But yeah, Vic Rattlehead's always cool. And as I said, it was a very close choice between this one and Peace Sells. But I feel like I already, showed off the cover of Peace Sells a lot in my thrash metal Big Four Part 2 video, so I want to do something new. Plus, I think this one's slightly better. It's got an alien in it. It's got some kind of government program going on, some kind of Area 51 type thing. And you can just picture you just think a UFO is going to come and screw everything up or something. I don't know, but yeah. There's Vic, that's our guy. But yeah, my 9th favorite album cover, Rust in Peace by Megadeth. And as I said, you're not going to find any two from the same band here. So for example, if I pick, I picked a Megadeth album, you're not going to find Euthanasia and Peace Sells and Killers of My Business and and System Has Failed and all that stuff here. That's the only Megadeth album that there's going to be, because there's only one album per band. Yeah. Sorry, I ramble too much. Alright, well, my number 8 favorite album cover of all time, Secret of the Black Arts by Dark Funeral. And I can't seem to get rid of this damn glare, so I apologize. You might want to look these album covers up as soon as you watch this video and see them a little better, because I can't seem to get them in the friggin' light. I don't know. Sorry. I guess you can kind of see it. This one's drawn by Christian Whalen, who's done a lot of my favorite album covers. He's a great artist. I love his paintings. They're just excellent. Very epic. Oh, God, yeah. This is the only studio album that had Thimgoroff on vocals and bass. I think it was also the only one of founding member Black Moon, who passed away a couple years ago. Rest in peace. Lord Airyman was a sole constant member. Both of them are, Black Moon and Airyman are both great guitarists. It looks like this thing's broken. But, Oh well, nonetheless, a great album cover, one of Christian Whalen's best. Sorry I can't get it in the light very good. The damn glare, but yeah, just look it up after this video's done because I can't do it justice. It's really dark anyway. Basically, it looks like a bunch of cult worshippers or Satanists outside of an abandoned building in the woods. All right, well, number 7, Eaten Back to Life by Cannibal Corpse. Vincent Locke has done most of their album covers, and he's a great artist as well. Probably my second favorite next to Waylon. He's just awesome. It was a hard choice between this and Butchered at Birth and Tomb of the Mutilated and Gore Obsessed. They all have great covers. But I think I went with this one. I mean, come on, it's a zombie in a cemetery, eating himself. A gory, bloody, skeletal zombie. Looks like he's ate some other people too. Look at that. That's just awesome. That's just a death metal greatness right there. Yeah, this is their first album, obviously. And Chris Barnes was really good here. This was back when they had Bob Rouse on second guitar. I never cared for him too much. He's probably my least favorite guitarist I ever had. I'm a huge Jack Owen and Pat O'Brien fan myself. But, some great tracks here. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about the albums themselves too much. Just the covers, maybe a brief summary of the... This is actually the reissue cover. I like it better with the original logo that Chris Barnes drew. I actually have the original Butchered at Birth printing, the first press. Unfortunately, this one isn't original, but... it's still the same cover art, so that's one I want to show you. But, yeah, it's just awesome. Some gory death metal greatness. I know, I'm a dork. And my sixth favorite album cover, Holy Diver by Dio. Dio's got some great album covers as well. There's also Dream Evil and Master of the Moon, Magica. He's got some really epic, cool album covers. Killing the Dragon, Lock Up the Wolves, Strange Highways. But I think his debut album was my favorite. He had Vivian Campbell on guitar here. He had a really good band. Of course, before that he was in Rainbow and Black Sabbath, so he'd worked with the likes of Richie Blackmore and Tony Iommi, so it was going to be hard to top either of them. But yeah, anyway, there's a great cover, like a demon with a priest who's all chained up in the ocean. There's all kinds of controversy. People saying, "Oh my God, a demon is drowning a priest." The preacher's dying. Then Dio, Ronnie James Dio, who's my second favorite vocalist of all time, by the way, said something like, "Well, it could easily be a preacher drowning the demon." Yeah, I don't think so. I think he was just blowing smoke up their ass. But yeah, it's a pretty cool painting. I really like it. All right, as for my number 5, I've got kind of a hard choice between some of these. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Scream Bloody Gore by Death. I mentioned this in my Leprosy review. This is a really cool cover. A bunch of zombies gathered around, looking like they're having some kind of cult meeting, probably about to perform some black magic rituals and practice some witchcraft. Oh God, yeah, I just love zombies. I love evil-looking horror movie-inspired covers like this. This looks like it could have been like one of those old horror comic books of the 50s, like Tales from the Crypt or Vault of Horror or Creepy or Eerie or Ghostly Tales from the Haunted House or House of Mystery or one of those. And that's what I love about it. I'm not actually sure who drew this, but they did a hell of a job. And if anybody knows, let me know in the comments. I probably should have done my research before I did this video. I can't get this one in the light very good either, so you might have to look this one up. But I assure you, it is friggin' awesome. Yeah. Scream Bloody Gore by Death. My 5th favorite album cover. It's a good one. Alright, number 4. You can probably tell by now that black metal has some of the best album covers, but I tried not to have too many of them here, because, they could have you could have easily made a top 10 list with all black metal albums, for real. Yeah, guess what band this is. Who are they? Who's that? Who's that right there? That's John Notveit. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is Dissection, Storm of the Light's Bane. It was a very hard choice between this one and The Somber Lane. Yeah, both great albums, both great covers. But I think I went with this one. I really like you can probably tell, I really like the icy winter landscapes with, like, something evil going on. The forests, the icy winter. I actually I'm one of the few who prefer Swedish black metal to Norwegian black metal. I know I'm in the minority, but and this is no exception. Yeah, I know most people won't agree with that. Blah blah blah. Bite me. It's my opinion. Yeah, John Nightvight was a genius. He was the guitarist and vocalist. Unfortunately, he committed suicide shortly after he got out of jail. I think in like the mid 2000s. 2006 was when their long-awaited third album, Ran Chaos, was released, and he killed himself shortly after that. I think in the middle of a pentagram and some candles and stuff too. Black metal musicians are just like, go research some. Go look up Mayhem. Go look up their original singer Dead and Euronymous. Yeah, go look it up right now. Go look up Emperor's bassist. I think it was Faust. So one of the former Emperor members stabbed a homosexual man to death in the woods. They've just done all kinds of fucked up stuff. So it's like, if you think rappers and hip hop artists are bad, look up black metal musicians. It'll make you piss yourself. Yeah, all those rappers would shit their pants if they saw what some of these black metalers do. All right, and my third favorite album cover. Sorry for the rambling. Kind of an obvious choice, but I think it's there's probably a good reason for that. Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast. Yes, a very obvious choice. It was a hard choice between this one and Killers, and even Peace of Mind, Power Slave, and Somewhere in Time. But this one's just so much more epic. I mean, come on, it's got the devil on the cover. It's got Eddie, using him like as a puppet. He's pulling the strings because the devil thinks he's controlling Eddie right there. But really, there's another Eddie controlling the devil. Yeah, I had the T-shirt of this for years until it got ruined. Then we stuffed it into a bass drum in one of the bands I was in. But oh yeah, all kinds of good artwork. I really like the cover of the Run to the Hills single as well. I think that might be in here somewhere. Yeah, whoever did the artwork did a great job. Yeah, some of the best. I would love to get a tattoo of Eddie somewhere in my body. Yeah, there's the Run to the Hills. That's a cool. I had a T-shirt of that as well. I've had several Iron Maiden shirts, but oh yeah, Eddie's always cool. He had to be on this list. No, heavy metal album covers list would be complete without an Iron Maiden one in there somewhere, because they just make the best covers ever. Eddie the Head and just all kinds of crazy epic horror influence stuff going on. Oh yeah, just awesome. And as you know, this is their first album with Bruce Dickinson. Their last with drummer Clive Burr. Some great songs on it. This is regarded by most people as Iron Maiden's finest hour. I actually disagree. I think Killers, Peace of Mind, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of Sunset are actually all better. I know I'm in the minority yet again. This album's still great. Hallowed Be Thy Name is an awesome friggin' song. In fact, as soon as you finish this video, before you look up those album covers that you couldn't see clearly, look up that song, because it fucking slays. Alright, number 2. It's going to be another black metal one. Another one drawn by Christian Whalen. It's In the Nightside Eclipse by Emperor. And I'm sorry if you can't see it very well due to the damn glare. But, yeah. This is their debut album. Oh god, they're probably my favorite black metal band. I know it's a close one between them and Mayhem and Immortal and Dark Throne and Dissection and Carpathian Forest, but I think they take the cake. Their music's very atmospheric, very melodic. And a lot of black metal bands get bashed for using too much keyboards and stuff, but Emperor is mostly praised for it, and I'm glad because they're friggin' awesome. And their debut album is just excellent. It's easily their finest hour. In the Nightside Eclipse by Emperor. This would be a cool tattoo to get as well. It'd be a lot of work though. Yeah, Christian Whalen did a great job. He has a lot of what I like to call cold, icy paintings. A lot of the artwork he does seems to be some kind of winter landscape. As you can see, this one's during the winter. There's some trolls right here about to attack. There's some kind of castle. It's in the middle of the woods. There's the mountains in the background of the moon. And there's the cover of Wrath of the Tyrant, the EP, like miniaturized. Um, or it might actually be the EP just called Emperor. My version is the one I have. The EP I have is like a mix between the two. It's got both of them in 2-in-1, and so that's the cover that it has. But yeah, oh yeah, and the Night Set Eclipse is excellent. Great CD, great cover. Definitely one of Christian Whalen's best. Probably, you know, in his top 5. Oh, I just love it. And yeah, give this album a listen to because it's awesome. What you do is during the wintertime, there's snow on the ground. You go in the forest at night. Make sure there's a lot of snow on the ground. All the trees are bare and there's icy winds blowing. You put these songs in your iPod. You put your headphones in and just listen to them while you're walking around in an icy winter forest. Or, you know, put the CD in a Walkman, whatever you do, you know, if you're old-fashioned like me. I mean, I have an iPod too, but sometimes I like to use the Walkman just for nostalgia. Yeah, definitely do that because it's quite an experience. All right, so before I reveal the #1 best album cover of all time, let's get some honorable mentions. Under the Influence by Overkill. Oh yeah, I gotta love the skull with bat wings that Avenged Sevenfold stole. Rain and Bud by Slayer. Yeah, you knew that was coming. Arise by Sepultura. Oh yeah, great album, great cover. Obituary, Cause of Death. Slowly We Rot and Frozen in Time are really good. Has good artwork as well. Orgasmic Tron by Motorhead. Oh, rest in peace, Lemmy. Terrible Certainty by Creator. Pleasure to Kill is also a really good one. In the Shadows by Merciful Fate. Yeah, I know a lot of people like don't break the oath, but I think this one's creepier and has a more eerie vibe to it. But you can't go wrong with either one. Horror Show by Iced Earth, which just fell apart. I think this was their last one with Matt Barlow before Tim Owens came, and then Matt Barlow came back later on, then left again, but he was the last one before he was replaced by Owens. Great vocalist, great album, great cover. Black Sabbath's debut album, self-titled, eponymous Black Sabbath. A lot of people think that's Ozzy, but no, he didn't even look like that back then. Not quite. I think it's some kind of witch just sitting in the forest with an abandoned building in the background, which I love. I would love to go explore that building and that forest. Oh yeah, gotta love that. Black Sabbath, my favorite band. And of course, you had to include some kind of Bathory album cover. Didn't quite make the top 10, but came very close. Nordland Part 1. Nordland Part 2 is also really good. And they have all kinds of great album covers. It would take forever to name them all, but go ahead and look them up. Rest in peace, Quorthon. And the #1 best album cover of all time, in my opinion anyway. I hope you can see it without the damn glare getting in the way. Voodoo by King Diamond. Yes, I know, Abigail and Them are also really great. But come on, look at that awesome, creepy old mansion. Look at the cemetery right outside of it, and the river, and the trees, and then some ominous, dark figure. Why? Yeah, that's just awesome. Oh God, yeah, I would love to live there. I'm pretty sure it's in Louisiana where the album's story takes place. It's a concept album, like like many of his others. Oh gosh, yeah, Voodoo is just great. It was also drawn by Christian Whalen. He's just awesome. King Diamond's one of my heroes. He needs to direct a horror movie. Oh gosh, I worship this man. He's one of my idols. And he's got excellent albums, excellent music. He writes great lyrics, and they always have great album covers. That's why this is the #1 artwork. Yes, Abigail and Them are also very great, and they're almost as great as this. This is just so cool. That's like my dream house, my dream location. I've always wanted to go to Louisiana. And they do have a lot of houses like this. I looked it up. That's just friggin' awesome. This has been the wallpaper of my computer for years. I have the shirt as well. And I would love to get a tattoo of that. Like maybe on my back somewhere. That would be friggin' sick. So yeah, Voodoo by King Diamond, the #1 greatest album cover of all time, according, well, at least to me. Yeah, guys, that was my top 10 favorite albums with some honorable mentions thrown in. I know there's a lot of other great ones that I left out. Feel free to include your own in the comments below. Sorry that I got tongue-tied so much in this video. Sorry that I rambled a little too much. I should have rehearsed first because I feel like this video didn't turn out as good as it could have. But check these albums out. They have great covers and great music. Hell yeah. I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching another my video. And if you're wondering what my top 10 favorite albums are, well, stay tuned because I got something special planned for that. I'm going to have a special guest on the channel that you guys haven't met before. Alright guys, keep it metal.